This is gonna start with a split screen. On one side of the screen, we're gonna see someone working diligently, maybe a little too hard. And on the other side, we're gonna see someone sitting blankly, staring at their computer screen. He's not necessarily doing anything wrong. He might just feel a bit unfocused and struggle to get himself to do anything. Can you relate? Oftentimes, when we look like this, people will assume that we're just lazy or unmotivated. But there might be another explanation for why we're acting this way. Have you heard of mental fog before? No, not that kind of fog. But have you ever experienced mental fog? If so, you may be experiencing a form of burnout. The world has started to talk a lot about physical burnout. But what does it mean when we say mental burnout? What are some signs that we're mentally burned out? Well, here are a few signs that you might not be lazy, but actually mentally burned out. Number 1, you're tired all the time. Okay, we know this one sounds obvious, but we promise there's more to it than meets the eye. When we think of someone who's tired, our first thought is often, they didn't get much sleep last night. Sure, lack of sleep can make us feel tired, but being mentally burned out can cause us to feel tired as well. Being mentally burned out can zap our energy levels, both physically and mentally. So even though we might be well rested after a full 8 hours of sleep, we still might feel completely drained and unmotivated, because mental burnout makes us feel tired in a different way than just being sleep deprived does. Mental burnout can affect us on a deeper level, where it feels like no matter how much rest we get, it's never enough rest. Does that sound familiar? Number 2, you don't remember things as well as you used to. Do you find yourself forgetting where certain things are, or misplacing items more often than usual? Maybe you were always known as the brains of the group in school, but now it seems like you can barely remember your own phone number. It happens to the best of us. Burnout can affect our memory in ways that we wouldn't expect. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, burnout can have an effect on how well we remember things. This is because burnout makes us feel so drained and apathetic that it can literally start to affect our brain function. It's almost like our minds have checked out because we've asked too much of them. This inability to remember things well is more than just a symptom of getting older. It could also be a sign of mental burnout. Number 3, you find it difficult to concentrate. Did you know that over 70% of people report feeling overwhelmed with information every day? With everything going on around us, from social media to work to school and everything else in between, it's not surprising that we might find it harder to concentrate sometimes. But if you're feeling mentally burned out, it could explain why you're having a harder time focusing lately. According to Healthline, burnout can make it really hard to concentrate. Not only that, but it can make it harder for us to make decisions as well. This is because when we're mentally burned out, we're also mentally exhausted. And exhaustion affects our ability to use logic and reasoning. It also affects our cognitive flexibility. So, not only can burnout make it hard to concentrate, but it can also limit our creativity and problem-solving skills. As a result, we might start to feel incompetent or unproductive, which can lead us to feel even worse than we did before. Number 4, you feel unmotivated and find it hard to get things done. Do you procrastinate more than you'd like to admit? Procrastination is usually associated with laziness, but it can also be linked to mental burnout. When we're mentally burned out, we feel so tired, drained, and unmotivated that it makes it hard for us to get things done. We know that we have to do things, but we just can't seem to get ourselves to do them. It feels like we're stuck inside our own bodies, watching ourselves fail to complete tasks that we know we should be completing. It's incredibly frustrating, but that's just how it is when you're mentally burned out. In fact, according to a study by the University of Michigan, procrastination is associated with increased levels of fatigue and exhaustion. So if you find yourself procrastinating more than usual, it might not be because you're lazy. It could be because your mind is burned out. Number 5, you're more irritable than usual. Irritability is one of the most common symptoms of mental burnout. This irritability can manifest itself in many different ways, such as becoming easily frustrated or angered, feeling more negative emotions than positive ones, and feeling generally unhappy. One moment you could be fine, and then the next moment something small sets you off into a rage. It might be hard to control these emotions because, on top of dealing with these difficult feelings, you're also trying to pretend like you're okay when you're not. You might try to put on a happy face and pretend like nothing is wrong, but really, on the inside, you're just a big ball of stress and frustration. And number 6, you isolate yourself from others. Do you find yourself wanting to spend more time alone than usual? Is it harder for you to connect with others? Spending time alone isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it can be incredibly healthy for us and allow us to become more in touch with ourselves. But sometimes, it can be a way of coping with difficult emotions and problems in our lives. And if you're mentally burned out, it might be why you're spending less time with your loved ones. According to a study by the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology, burnout can make it harder for us to connect with others. This is because when we're mentally burned out, we feel so tired, drained, and unmotivated that it makes it hard for us to put ourselves out there and connect with new people. We might start to feel like there's no point in connecting with others because we just don't have the energy to maintain those relationships. Or we might feel like our friends and family won't understand what we're going through, so we might start to isolate ourselves from them. Either way, Isolating ourselves won't help us in the long run. And it's important to reach out for support when we're mentally burned out. So, did you relate to any of these signs? Burnout can affect us all in different ways. Some of us might experience one or two of these signs, while others might experience all of them. It's important to be aware of these signs so that we can take steps to prevent burnout from happening in the first place. Take a break, journal your thoughts, talk to a therapist. Burnout doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a wake-up call that we need to make some changes in our lives. And lastly, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. We would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.